How to stop caring what people think. Stoic philosophy. Imagine waking up tomorrow, and for the first time in your life, you no longer cared what anyone thought of you. You wouldn't be afraid to speak your mind. You wouldn't hesitate to chase your dreams. You wouldn't lose sleep over criticism. You wouldn't change who you are just to fit in. Now ask yourself, how much of your life has been controlled by other people's opinions? The clothes you wear, the career you chose, the things you post online, the words you never said, the opportunities you never took. Most people spend their entire lives trying to impress people who aren't even thinking about them. And that is one of the greatest tragedies of modern life. More than 2,000 years ago, the Stoics understood something that most people still haven't learned. Your peace disappears the moment you give strangers permission to control your emotions. Marcus Aurelius was criticized every single day. People questioned his decisions. Some hated him. Others betrayed him. Yet he wrote something that changed millions of lives. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Think about that for a moment. No one can embarrass you without your permission. No one can steal your confidence unless you hand it to them. No opinion has power until you decide it matters. So why do we keep living as prisoners of other people's thoughts? Today, you're about to discover the Stoic mindset that can free you from approval, criticism, rejection, and fear. By the end of this video, you'll see people differently. You'll see yourself differently. And once you understand this lesson, you'll never chase anyone's approval again. Let's begin. 1. The truth that will set you free. Here's a question. How many people do you remember seeing at the grocery store last week? Probably none. Yet every day, you worry that everyone remembers everything you do. The truth is, people are far too busy thinking about themselves. They're worried about their own appearance, their own problems, their own mistakes, their own future. You're starring in your own movie. They're starring in theirs. Most of the embarrassment you feel exists only inside your mind. The Stoics knew this. Epictetus said that we are disturbed not by events, but by our opinions about them. Someone laughs. You assume it's about you. Someone doesn't reply to your message. You imagine they dislike you. Someone criticizes your work. You begin questioning your worth. Notice something. The suffering isn't created by reality. It's created by the story your mind invents. Intelligent people stop believing every thought they think. They ask, is this actually true? Most of the time, the answer is no. That single realization can remove years of unnecessary anxiety. And that's where freedom begins. 2. You will never please everyone. Imagine the sweetest fruit in the world. Now imagine handing it to 100 people. Some will love it. Some will hate it. Some will say it's too sweet. Others will say it isn't sweet enough. The fruit never changed. Only people's opinions did. Now replace the fruit with yourself. No matter how kind you are, someone will misunderstand you. No matter how honest you are, someone will doubt you. No matter how successful you become, someone will envy you. Trying to be liked by everyone is like trying to stop the wind with your hands. It cannot be done. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning that he would meet arrogant, selfish, dishonest, and ungrateful people. Not because the world was hopeless, but because expecting everyone to like you only leads to disappointment. The moment you accept that criticism is unavoidable, you stop fearing it. You stop explaining yourself. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. And that's the day confidence begins. Because confidence isn't believing everyone likes you. Confidence is knowing you'll be okay, even if they don't. 3. Stop giving strangers control over your mind. Think about this carefully. A stranger leaves a negative comment online. For 10 seconds, they type a few words. But you think about those words for 10 days. Who really has the power? They do. not because they earned it, because you gave it away. The Stoics believed your mind was your greatest possession. Guard it, protect it. Never hand the keys to someone who doesn't deserve them. Every time you obsess over someone's opinion, you give them control over your happiness. Every time you replay an insult, you become your own prison guard. Most people don't suffer because of criticism. They suffer because they repeat the criticism to themselves hundreds of times. The insult happened once. The mind repeats it 1,000 times. That is self-inflicted suffering. Instead, ask yourself, does this opinion improve my character? If the answer is yes, learn from it. If the answer is no, leave it behind. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every voice deserves a place inside your mind. The strongest people are not those who never hear criticism. They are the ones who know which voices deserve to be ignored. 4. Your need for approval is costing you your life. Imagine reaching 80 years old, looking back, and realizing you lived someone else's life. You chose the safe career because people expected it. You stayed silent because you feared judgment. You ignored your dreams because someone laughed at them. You wore a mask for so long. You forgot who you really were. This happens every day. People sacrifice their happiness to earn applause that lasts only a few seconds. The Stoics warned against this long before social media existed. They knew that chasing approval is like drinking salt water. The more you consume, the thirstier you become. No amount of praise is ever enough. Because the real problem isn't outside you. It's inside you. When your self-worth depends on other people, your peace becomes fragile. One compliment makes your day. One insult destroys it. That isn't confidence. That's dependence. Real confidence is quieter. It doesn't beg to be seen. It doesn't need constant validation. It comes from knowing your values and refusing to betray them. Ask yourself today, are you living for your own respect or someone else's applause? 5. Marcus Aurelius was criticized every day. Imagine carrying the weight of an entire empire on your shoulders. Every decision you make affects millions of lives. Every victory earns admiration. Every mistake earns criticism. That was the life of Marcus Aurelius. People questioned his leadership. Some believed he was too gentle. Others thought he was too harsh. His own generals disagreed with him. His own people doubted him. Yet history remembers him as one of the greatest rulers who ever lived. Why? Because he understood a truth that most people never learn. Your reputation is not fully yours to control. Only your character is. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal every night, not to impress anyone, but to remind himself what truly mattered. He didn't ask, did everyone approve of me today? He asked, did I act with wisdom? Did I remain just? Did I control my emotions? Notice the difference. One question depends on the world. The other depends on you. This is why Stoicism is so powerful. It shifts your attention away from applause and toward integrity. Imagine how peaceful your life would become if every night you judged yourself by your actions instead of other people's opinions. The world may still criticize you, but criticism no longer decides your value. Your character does, and character is something no one can take from you. 6. Most people's opinions are worthless. Let's be honest. Why do we care so much about opinions from people we wouldn't ask for advice? A stranger insults your appearance. Someone online mocks your dream. A coworker laughs at your ambition. Suddenly, you begin questioning yourself. But stop for a moment. Would you ask that person how to build your future? Would you trust them with your biggest decisions? Would you trade lives with them? If the answer is no, why accept their judgment? The Stoics believed wisdom requires discrimination. Not every voice deserves equal attention. Imagine you're walking through a busy marketplace. Hundreds of people are shouting. Some are selling. Some are arguing. Some are complaining. Would you stop and listen to every single person? Of course not. So why do you do that inside your own mind? Every criticism enters, and you give it a front row seat. Intelligent people filter information. They listen carefully to mentors. They accept correction from people they respect. But random opinions, they let them pass like clouds in the sky. Because they understand something powerful. Noise is everywhere. Wisdom is rare. Don't confuse the two. The next time someone judges you, ask yourself one simple question. Has this person earned the right to shape how I see myself? If not, keep walking. Your peace is worth more than their opinion. 7. The price of pleasing everyone. There is an invisible prison that millions of people live in. It has no walls, no locks, no guards, yet escaping it feels impossible. That prison is people-pleasing. It begins innocently. You say yes when you want to say no. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You apologize for things that weren't your fault. You avoid conflict at any cost. Little by little, you stop living honestly. You begin acting. The tragedy is that people applaud the version of you that isn't even real. And deep inside, you know it. Seneca warned that the person who seeks everyone's approval loses ownership of their own life. Think about that. How many dreams have died because someone feared being judged? How many businesses were never started? How many books were never written? How many opportunities were ignored? Not because people lacked talent, but because they feared criticism. Remember this. Every extraordinary person in history was criticized. Every inventor, every artist, every leader, every philosopher. The question isn't whether people will judge you. The question is whether you'll allow their judgment to stop you. Because the cost of pleasing everyone is becoming no one. 8. Why criticism hurts more than it should. Have you ever noticed something strange? 100 people can compliment you. One person can criticize you. And somehow, it's the criticism you remember. Days later, you're still thinking about it. Weeks later, those words still echo in your mind. Why? Because the human brain is wired to notice danger more than comfort. Thousands of years ago, this helped our ancestors survive. Ignoring a compliment had no consequences. Ignoring danger could cost your life. So your brain learned to hold onto negative experiences. The problem is, your brain treats criticism the same way it once treated predators. A careless comment from a stranger can feel like a real threat. Your heart races. Your thoughts spiral. You replay the conversation over and over again. But here's what the Stoics understood. Just because your mind reacts doesn't mean you have to obey it. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the first reaction is automatic. The second reaction is a choice. You cannot stop someone from speaking, but you can stop yourself from giving their words a permanent home in your mind. The next time criticism finds you, pause, take one slow breath. Ask yourself, will this matter 1 year from now? Most of the time, the answer is no. And if it won't matter in a year, don't let it ruin your day. 9. The trap of comparison. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to lose your peace. Today it's easier than ever. You open your phone. Within seconds, you see someone buying a new house, someone traveling the world, someone building a successful business, someone getting married, someone living what appears to be the perfect life. Without realizing it, you begin measuring your life against theirs. But what you're comparing is your reality against someone else's highlight reel. The Stoics would have smiled at this, because they knew comparison has no finish line. If you make $1 million, you'll compare yourself to someone with 10 million. If you become famous, you'll compare yourself to someone even more famous. If you're the strongest person in one room, you'll eventually enter another room. Comparison never ends. That's why it never brings peace. Seneca believed the happiest person isn't the one who has the most. It's the one who wants the least. Think about that. Real freedom doesn't come from owning everything. It comes from no longer believing you need everything. Every minute spent comparing yourself is a minute stolen from becoming your best self. Instead of asking, why are they ahead of me? Ask, am I improving compared to yesterday? That question changes everything, because the only competition that truly matters is the person you were yesterday. 10. The people who laugh today may applaud tomorrow. History repeats itself. When someone thinks differently, people laugh. When someone refuses to follow the crowd, people criticize. When someone succeeds, those same people suddenly become supporters. Look at almost every great figure in history. They were doubted, mocked, rejected, misunderstood, not because they lacked ability, but because they dared to be different. Most people don't fear failure. They fear looking foolish. That's why dreams remain dreams. Businesses are never started. Books are never written. Ideas never become reality. Because someone is worried about what another person might think. The Stoics refused to let fear decide their future. They understood something extraordinary. Embarrassment lasts a moment. Regret can last a lifetime. Imagine reaching old age, knowing you never tried because you were afraid of criticism. That pain is far greater than any insult you'll ever receive. So ask yourself today, would you rather be temporarily embarrassed or permanently regretful? Choose wisely, because your future depends on that answer. Now that you understand why people judge, and why your mind clings to those judgments, because it isn't about changing other people. It's about becoming the kind of person who remains calm, no matter what the world says. 11. The Stoic secret to becoming emotionally untouchable. Imagine someone walking up to you and calling you a failure. A year ago, those words might have ruined your day. You would replay them in your head, wonder what you did wrong, question your worth. But now imagine hearing those same words and feeling absolutely nothing. Not because you've become cold, not because you've stopped caring, but because you've learned one life-changing truth. No one else's opinion can define you unless you accept it. This is what the Stoics practiced every day. Epictetus once asked a simple question. If someone handed you a gift and you refused to accept it, who would the gift belong to? The answer is obvious. It remains with the person who offered it. Now think about insults, criticism, hatred, mockery. They are gifts. Unwanted gifts. You always have a choice. Accept them, or leave them with the person who offered them. Most people grab every insult and carry it for years. The Stoic lets it fall to the ground. Someone says, "You're not good enough." The Stoic smiles. Someone says, "You'll never succeed." The Stoic keeps working. Someone laughs at their dream. The Stoic continues anyway. Why? Because their identity isn't built on applause. It's built on principles. And principles don't change every time someone opens their mouth. This is emotional freedom. Not controlling other people. Controlling yourself. The strongest person in the room isn't the loudest. It's the one who refuses to let the room control their emotions. Imagine the peace that comes with living this way. No longer reacting to every comment. No longer explaining yourself. No longer fighting battles that don't deserve your energy. That peace is available to anyone. but only if they're willing to stop giving strangers power over their mind. 12. Build a life that doesn't need validation. Here's something that may surprise you. The happiest people are rarely the ones who receive the most praise. They're the ones who need it the least. Think about a mighty oak tree. It doesn't ask the birds if it's tall enough. It doesn't ask the wind for permission to grow. It simply grows. Day after day. Year after year. Storm after storm. That is how your life should be. Quiet progress. Consistent discipline. Steady growth. Without announcing every step. Without waiting for approval. Without checking if everyone agrees. Social media has trained us to seek instant validation. We post. We refresh. We count the likes. We compare ourselves. And before long, our happiness depends on numbers on a screen. The Stoics would have warned us about this, because the more your confidence depends on external rewards, the weaker your inner foundation becomes. Instead, measure your success differently. Did you keep your word today? Did you improve a little? Did you act with courage? Did you remain calm under pressure? Those are victories. And unlike popularity, no one can take them away. Imagine spending one full year focused only on becoming better instead of becoming noticed. Your life would completely change. Not because everyone suddenly admired you, but because, for the first time, you admired yourself. 13. The world changes when you stop chasing approval. There's an old story about a father, his son, and their donkey. As they walked through a village, the father rode the donkey while the son walked. People criticized the father. What a selfish man. So they switched places. Now the son rode while the father walked. The next village criticized the son. What a disrespectful child. So they both rode the donkey. Another crowd complained. Those poor animals. Trying to satisfy everyone, they both got off and walked beside the donkey. People laughed. What fools, they have a donkey but refuse to ride it. No matter what they did. Someone found fault. That story has survived for centuries because it reveals an uncomfortable truth. People will always have opinions. If you live according to them, you'll spend your entire life changing direction. Today, someone will admire you. Tomorrow, someone else will dislike you. Neither opinion changes who you truly are. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know the subject." Remember that. Not every opinion deserves your respect. Not every critic deserves your attention. Not every judgment deserves a response. Sometimes the strongest answer is silence. The greatest revenge is success. The greatest peace is indifference to meaningless criticism. When you stop chasing approval, you stop living in fear. You speak honestly. You walk confidently. You pursue your purpose. And something remarkable happens. The people who truly matter begin respecting you even more. Not because you tried to impress them, but because authenticity is impossible to fake. Conclusion. At the end of your life, no one will hand you an award for pleasing everyone. No one will congratulate you for hiding your dreams. No one will thank you for becoming smaller so others could feel comfortable. The only question that will matter is this: did you live according to your values? Or according to other people's expectations? The Stoics answered that question long ago. Your peace belongs to you. Guard it. Your character belongs to you. Strengthen it. Your life belongs to you. Live it boldly. The moment you stop chasing approval, you begin chasing excellence. And excellence will always take you further than popularity ever could. So today, choose courage over comfort. Choose purpose over praise. Choose character over reputation. Because the people who change the world were never the ones trying to fit into it. They were the ones brave enough to stand apart. If this message spoke to you, remember this. The next time someone doubts you, smile, keep walking, and let your life become the answer. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another lesson in Stoic wisdom. Until next time, protect your peace, master your mind, and remember, the only opinion you truly have to live with is your own.